And the very same Khrushchev who denounced Stalin for the personality cult built up his own personality cult. So it was not uncommon in the Soviet Union to describe him as the organizer of the Red Army, because at the time of the organization of the Red Army, Khrushchev was nobody. It was not uncommon to describe him as the architect of the victory in the war against fascism, when everybody knows what his role in the Second World War. He was an important official of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. He was on many fronts, but he was certainly not the architect of the victory. He was even described as the father of Russian rocketry and rocket science. And he was called the cosmic father. Now, everybody knows that all this was built through industrialization and collectivization under the leadership of Stalin. Although Stalin did live to see Gagarin's flight into space, nevertheless, it was actually the whole wherewithal was built during his own time. And it really just reminds us of what Lenin used to say when some new people come and attack leadership, and what are these leaders doing, and they're sitting occupying their position. So Lenin said, in place of old leaders who hold ordinary human views on ordinary matters, new leaders are put forth who talk supernatural nonsense and confusion. And that's really what Khrushchev was, talk supernatural nonsense and confusion, all in the name of denouncing the cult of the personality. And it was Khrushchev who, more than anybody else, had tried to build up Stalin's cult of the personality. You should listen to some of the speeches that he made, particularly his speeches at party congresses, particularly his speech to 200,000 people at a meeting in Moscow organized by the Moscow Soviet, of which he happened to be the party secretary at that time. And he then said that this was at the time of the Moscow trial of 1938. He said, those who have raised their finger against Communist Stalin have raised their finger against the dictatorship of the proletariat, against the CPSU. We will cut off their fingers and we will do this and the other. And then went on to describe in various speeches of his, Stalin as a great leader. The word leader for Stalin was used by him, washed, you know. It was not used by anybody else before that. He was the one who was washed. And he then ended up by saying, he's wise, he's this and the other, he leads the affairs of the world, and he's my own father. It's the very same Khrushchev who then goes on to denounce Stalin. So these are the hypocrites who actually maintain themselves in their positions by biding time. They were opportunists who were always capitalist roaders, but when they realized that the capitalist roaders were coming to no end, they hid. They became vociferous supporters of the regime and bided their time. And that's what the Khrushchevites did. They bided their time. And their time came with the death of Stalin. And after the death of Stalin, of course, there were lots of good comrades. They either died naturally or they died mysteriously. And those who were alive, although good supporters of Stalin, Khrushchev was able to run rings around them. They were not able to give a very good account of themselves. Molotov, Kaganovich, a number of others. You know, they were bamboozled by Khrushchev. Khrushchev was able to actually outwit them. And Molotov, in his memoirs, admits as much of that. He said, when Stalin was alive, we sang from the same hymn sheet. We just didn't have the ability to fight against Khrushchev's intrigues, and we were hoodwinked by it.